Alright, so what's up? So today we're going to be talking about oxygen, the bare minimum need for survival. We're going to be focusing on 5 topics. Why is it such a big deal? How is it made? Why is there a scarcity right now? Different types of oxygen available, and which one should you choose? Moving on to the first topic. Why is it such a big deal? Now, oxygen is such a big deal right now because of coronavirus. What coronavirus does is that it makes the lungs inflamed, which leads to pneumonia, which further progresses to acute respiratory distress syndrome, or ARDS. In layman or basic terms, what this means is that it causes difficulty in breathing, which in turn leads to the lack of oxygen. Now, the question that arises is on so as to why do we need oxygen? We need oxygen to break down food to energy, for the removal of carbon dioxide from our blood, and for the blood to reach all our organs. Now, our brain requires that energy in order to function, and it stops functioning without it. So, we need oxygen to break down the food to energy to get the energy that we need to survive, therefore, making it a very, very, very big deal. Moving on to how is it made. Now, there are mainly 3 types of oxygen sources in India at present. These are air separation units. These are used for commercial productions. Then there are pressure swing absorptions, which are used for medium scale production. And then there are oxygen concentrators, which are used for producing oxygen at homes or small places. Now, in addition to all of this, the government has also allowed the use of industrial oxygen for the medical purposes, as people are needing more and more oxygen uh, for survival and for fighting the virus. Now, why is there a scarcity right now? Now, an average adult while resting consumes up to about 7 to 8 liters of oxygen per minute, which adds up to 11,000 liters of oxygen per day. And in inhaled air, about 20% is oxygen, and in exhaled air, there is 15% oxygen. Now, human beings take up to 550 liters of pure oxygen per day, and multiplying this figure by the number of active coronavirus cases and the number of days required for recovery, let's say 11, comes out to be 1815 crore liters of oxygen, which is a very, very, very high amount considering that it is a lowered down approximation. Therefore, we know that the supply is not meeting the demand, therefore it is causing the scarcity of oxygen. Now, moving on to the different types of oxygen available. There are oxygen cans, oxygen concentrators, and oxygen cylinders. Now, what are oxygen cans? Canned oxygen is basically oxygen in a can. Now, oxygen cans are small, like they contain up to about 6 to 12 liters of oxygen per can, which means that a normal person would need to consume 92 of those cans per day in order to meet his or her oxygen needs, which is highly inconvenient. Now, another drawback to oxygen cans is that the pressure cannot be controlled, which means that the rate of oxygen going to a patient cannot be controlled, whereas a patient suffering from coronavirus needs regulated pressured oxygen to their lungs. But oxygen cans can be used wherein the oxygen levels are satisfactorily at a high level and the person needs lesser amount of oxygen. Now, oxygen cans start from about 500 rupees. Moving on to the second, the oxygen concentrators. Now, an oxygen concentrator is a medical device that concentrates oxygen from ambient air. Now, the atmospheric air contains about 78% nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. What the oxygen concentrator does is that it takes in the air, filters it through a sieve, releases the nitrogen back into the air, and works on the oxygen. Now, this oxygen is compressed and dispensed through a cannula, which is up to 90 to 95% pure. A pressure valve in concentrators helps regulate the supply, which can range from 1 to 10 liters per minute. While it is not as pure as LMO, which is 99% pure, experts say that it is to good enough for mild and moderate COVID-19 patients with oxygen saturation levels above 85%. However, it is not advisable for critical care or ICU patients. Now, oxygen concentrators are easiest alternatives to cylinders, but it can only produce up to about 5 to 10 liters of oxygen per minute, whereas a critical person might need up to 40 to 50 liters of oxygen per minute, which means that they are best suited for moderately ill patients. Now, oxygen concentrators are designed so that they can run for up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they have a lifespan of about 5 years. And the concentrators cost from around 30,000 to 90,000 INR. Moving on to the third type, oxygen cylinder. Now, oxygen tank is an oxygen storage vessel which is either held under pressure in a gas cylinder or as a liquid oxygen in a cryogenic storage tank. It comes in various sizes ranging from 165 to 1600 liters. The rate of oxygen can be adjusted according to a patient's need. Now, oxygen cylinder is the best choice for ICU or critical care patients. Oxygen cylinders can cost from about 8,000 to 20,000 INR. Now, the main point comes down to which one should you choose. Now, you should choose on the basis of three factors: need, severity, and cost. Now, if you think that you have the need to take the oxygen despite not having any infection or having asymptomatic infection, then you should consider oxygen cans. Now, if you can afford and if you lie between the spectrum of 85% oxygen saturation, then you should consider going for the oxygen concentrators. Now, if you do not fall into any of those categories, or if you are an ICU or critical care patient, then according to me, and it may sound a bit harsh, then you need to wait for the oxygen cylinders because that is your best bet. But while waiting, you can use any of the other alternative that might suit your needs. So that's it from my side. I hope this video was informative and I could help you make a wise choice. I'll be dropping links in the description regarding more resources on this topic and for COVID resources. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to never miss out on any of my videos. Stay safe. Catch you in the next one.